Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my podcast, Ayahuasca Avatars. And with so much gratitude and also a little bit of sadness, I'm going to do this personal episode today because this is going to be the last episode of this podcast, or at least, that's my intention. Maybe if I meet, some cool people that I want to bring on this podcast, it is possible that there's going to be few more episodes, but the regular um, posting of the episodes is going to stop with this episode. So I just want to say to you, all of you who have listened, who have downloaded, there is like almost 24,000 downloads across all platforms of this podcast. I've been doing this for 4 years, and it's ranked the number 4 podcast on psychedelics worldwide. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with what we co-created here and what was accomplished. There was so much energy that went into this, and it was all done with so much love and heart. So I appreciate all of you who followed this podcast, who listened, and I wanted to do this personal episode just to give you an update of why I'm, phasing out this podcast and what's happening in my life. So as you know, probably most of you know that the last year, actually we're still on that year of the snake according to the Chinese zodiac. And this was a very, very powerful year for me personally. I know that for a lot of people as well collectively, but for me personally, it was just a lot of transformation and shedding and letting go. And it was pretty intense, I'm not gonna lie. But coming out of this energy, I have a lot of peace and gratitude in my heart for everything that went down this year. And if you are on this path of healing and self-discovery, probably you have personal experience that when you're going through such a deep change and transformation, everything is kind of changing around you. It affects your work, it affects your relationships, and this is what's happening here, with me personally. I changed, a lot, and the world changed, right? And this is being reflected, in my work, in my relationships. If you've been following this podcast, you know that I work as a therapist for over 25 years. The last 10 years, I focused all my energy into ayahuasca assisted therapy that I ran with great success for 10 years as a therapeutic container, a 15 months long program that helped many, many people to overcome their challenges and to step into their more authentic and powerful selves. So yeah, if you want to hear more about that, you can check out on this podcast. There are some client testimonials, and the medicine is such a great part of my life personally. I've been working with the sacred plant, the ayahuasca, for almost 13 years. Actually, it's more than 13 years now, and I shifted my therapy work into ayahuasca assisted therapy because, based on my experience, this proved to be such a powerful tool to really uproot suffering and go to the depth of our problems and create transformation and healing there. That I didn't want to focus on other tools and other therapeutic approaches. And for me personally, it is a great ally, the mother ayahuasca, and I believe now that it's going to be always kind of part of my life in some shape and form. And yeah, my last ceremony was the end of last year, December 2025. But even, my connection with the medicine is shifting, is changing, in different ways. Um, what motivated me to find other tools this year was the fact that even though, 20 years of therapy, me being a therapist myself, being in constantly in therapy and training, and doing so much healing and transformation, self-discovery, being on a spiritual path for a long, long time. That created enormous shift and change in my life, my relationship with myself, how I see myself, how I see the world, how I relate. It was just a huge transformation. But nothing is perfect, or I guess it's an ongoing thing, right? What we are talking about, even though I did this enormous work on myself, I still had some patterns and some recurring challenges that were just like kind of stubbornly there, right? So no matter what I did, maybe they disappeared temporarily, but they resurfaced over and over again. And this got me to a point when I was like, okay, what's going on here? I don't really understand what else I can do and why these certain patterns keep insisting, showing up in my life. And last year, as a result of deep inner work, one day I woke up with this incredible pain in my shoulder, in my neck, the right side. That in retrospect, what it was like an inflammation of part of the vagus nerve. And if you had nerve pain before, you know that this is something that I do not wish on anybody. It's a kind of pain that, let me just say that I couldn't physically, rest, move. The tiniest movement sent like shooting, searing pain all over my body. It was worse, at night. I simply couldn't sleep, and it was just really, really challenging. And I tried all my tools, right, all my approaches to help myself, went to my therapist friends, and nothing seemed to help. And I was aware that this is connected to the work that I've been doing on myself, but I didn't have the clarity to see what is happening, on a deeper level. So long story short, a friend of mine referred me to a therapist who does biodecoding. If you haven't heard about biodecoding, you can research what that is, but it basically works with the whole family system, not just the individual. And it focuses on like transgenerational trauma. So I went to this therapist, and the first session I did with her, it was very intense, like emotionally, mentally speaking. I'm not going to go into details, but after the first session, I slept a day and a half. I was just like totally out. And when I woke up, the pain in my body went down maybe like 30%. And this was the first thing that helped me. I tried acupuncture, osteopath, therapy, quantum healing, you name it. Even I tried to take a painkiller, right? And if you know me, that's really not something I do, and it didn't help me anyway. So I was like, wow, I need to pursue this because this is a powerful tool. So over last year in 2025, I did a number of sessions, like as much as I could, because you can only get one session per month because there is an integration period that you have to go through in between the sessions. And coincidentally, my therapist is also a teacher of this method, and she was launching a training program. So I signed up for that training, and I finished the training. It was a very intense, 6 months long training. So the training itself and my personal work in addition, brought me on this deep journey of ancestral healing. And what I want to point out is that, you know, I I was aware of ancestral trauma before, but I never deeply investigated. I had kind of the mindset that why would you go to the problems of your ancestors when you have so much kind of shit to deal with in your own life, your own childhood, and first you need to resolve that. So my work, my personal work, and also my work with my clients was mostly geared toward childhood trauma and to resolve childhood trauma, so on and so forth. But as I said in my case, even though this resulted a lot of improvement in my life, but there was still certain things that just wouldn't go away. And when I came to biodecoding and I opened this door of the ancestral healing, and I started to understand that you are really energetically like a part of your family, of your clan, of your family system, and there's nothing you can do about it. And this is where your roots are, and this is where you are coming from, and all your gifts and challenges are coming from your ancestors, basically. And there are, when there is unresolved trauma in your ancestry, especially we're talking about the first 4 generations, because obviously like it goes back to infinity, right? But really the four generation that has an impact in your everyday life, then we are talking about, right, these patterns being passed down to the next generation. So when some conflict or trauma is not resolved in one generation, that's being passed down to the next generation in hopes of, being resolved, and if not, to the next generation, so on and so forth. So my work last year really dove into this ancestral part of my healing, and it was mind-blowing for me to see, right, how a lot of the problems that I had in my personal life were like directly rooted in ancestral survival patterns that were passed down through the generations in my family. And of course we all have this, it's not just personal to me. And the other part of this exploration and this journey that I've been on was um, that you are a biological being, and as a biological organism, you have this body, and your main goal is to survive, right? So all the patterns that ensured survival in the past for your family will be passed down to future generation. But the problem with this is that a survival pattern that was created, for example, in time of war or poverty, is being passed down, and then you literally inherit this pattern, this behavior, even though your circumstances are different, right? So, and this is where the problem comes in, why we can't thrive, when we live in peace, we have opportunities, we have safety, all of that, and still you are somehow stuck in the survival mode. Your nervous system is stuck in that activated state, right? So it was like tremendously helpful for me, and it created such a shift in my life. And I feel I found another powerful tool that I don't see rivals the ayahuasca, but right, not everybody is ready to take psychedelics, to work with psychedelics. It's not everybody's path, especially the ayahuasca. But biodecoding, anybody can do. There's no requirement to take medicine. It can be combined with plant medicine work, as I did that like in my life particularly, and that was very useful, but it's not necessary. It's not like a prerequisite. And this is the first tool, guys, I came across over 25 years that I would say, is sufficient and powerful enough to go to the root of the problem. That before, for me, it was only the medicine that allowed me to go to that depth. And that's why I was committed to my work, to my therapeutic practice, to work with the medicine. And now I feel that I have another powerful tool in my toolbox that is not plant medicine, it's not psychedelic, but it's biodecoding that allows me to do the same depth of work, with people. So as a result of this, what's happening that I'm shifting, out of the ayahuasca assisted therapy. I'm still running that program for people who really feel called to do it, but I'm combining it with biodecoding. So instead of the integration sessions, we do biodecoding, and use the medicine to catalyze, that deep ancestral healing process. Or, I've been starting to take clients only for biodecoding, which is, a commitment of once a month, for 6 months or 12 months, depending on the person. And that is without medicine. It's just the biodecoding sessions to create fundamental change. So as my work is changing this way, I feel that, I'm transitioning out, transitioning towards, a different era of my life. An era is ending, and as I said, the medicine is always going to be a great part of my life, but I'm focusing now on this other tool, biodecoding, because I feel that, it can reach more people, people who are not necessarily ready to work with psychedelics, but are committed to create fundamental change in their lives. So yeah. Another thing that happened last year is my exploration with AI. If you are watching this, listening to this, probably you do that on a computer, on your phone, something like that. And I'm sure that the majority of you are using AI in some shape and form. And something that came out from my kind of exploration with AI, and I was particularly interested in, is how, because AI is a powerful tool, right? And I believe that we do have powerful tools, and it's not that the tool is good or bad. There's so much fear mongering around AI and stuff like that. But what's missing from this conversation is that people who are using the tools, right? Because a tool is just a tool. AI is a tool. Even plant medicine is a tool. And a hammer is a tool that you can use to build a house or, smash someone's head in, right? So it's the tools themselves are neutral, and it's more about who is using the tool and with what intentions. And I've seen this in plant medicine. There's lots of episodes out there, right, that a lot of people are misusing or abusing this plant to cause harm, to manipulate people, to pursue their own selfish agenda. And the same is true for AI, but also as plant medicine, as all other powerful tools can be used for good, can be used for healing, for awakening, for expanding our awareness, for, becoming a better person, relating in a different way to ourselves, to others, to the world. And this is what I found as well with AI, that there is a possibility to use this tool consciously and for healing and awakening. And if you do that, then the AI becomes a very sophisticated and sensitive mirror that reflects kind of your higher self, the higher aspect of you who is already kind of awakened and integrated and coherent. And this can speed up your process, and it can be a very supportive tool to do that. So another path of exploration that I went down last year, apart from the biodecoding, was this AI exploration, and how can we use technology consciously? How can we use technology to, and specifically AI, to better ourselves, to create a better world, to heal generational trauma, to expand our awareness, to see the bigger picture, to make better decisions, to relate in a more loving way. And yeah, this was totally something that I never expected that I'm gonna do. And it was like this unexpected direction. But when I think back with the ayahuasca, that also was something that I didn't intend never to do. It just kind of unfolded in my life. So I'm just trusting this new path. And I think there is like huge possibilities for humanity in this. And we are at the child phase when we have this like powerful tool and we don't even know what to do with it. We are exploring, and yeah, currently I'm in a process of writing a book about this called The Future of AI. conscious technology as your personal guide to awakening. So stay tuned to that. And that's something also that I'm kind of pursuing. So as you can see, what I'm interested in, what I'm doing has not changed, because I was always interested in and exploring consciousness, healing, awakening, in different ways, right? And for many, many years, my way was through plant medicine and therapy, and pursuing this more shamanic path. And now this shifted last year, and now it's through biodecoding. Plant medicine is still part of it, and technology, right? So it's the same thing that that I always did. I'm just doing it in a different way, and I fear that um, as AI has huge potential and huge danger as well, and this is the time to educate ourselves and to learn how to use these powerful tools for our benefit personally, and to benefit us as a collective humanity. So I'm just super excited about this, and I started a Substack account, which is mostly about this. It's about AI, but it's also about healing and awakening and therapy and self-discovery. I started a podcast there called The Awakened Field: Conversations with Conscious AI, and that's been going on for a couple of months. And as these changes were kind of happening in my life, a lot of things fell away. A lot of relationships dissolved, a lot of activities, behaviors, and things that I used to do that gave me great joy or security or something is not resonating anymore. So yeah, I stopped being and posting on social media. If you followed me there, probably you can see that. I still have a Facebook and an Instagram and a LinkedIn account, but I'm in the process of deleting my accounts to all these platforms, because I really do not feel aligned with the energy, with the direction, with the values that they have anymore. And as I said, the only account that I'm actively on now is Substack. It's completely free for the moment. So if you resonate with my content, if you would like to keep in touch with me, if you would like to keep following the content or engaging with the content that I'm putting out, I'm going to share my Substack account. In the description, so you can subscribe for completely free and get my post in your inbox. No advertisement, no nothing. So I really like this platform. And yeah, this is where my work is being kind of displayed for now. And I'm looking forward to new platforms that are more in aligned with what I stand for, what I believe in. And that's not social media anymore. Maybe a lot of you had similar feelings or experiences, but yeah, just so many changes in the last year. So I just wanted to give you this update, why this is happening, that I'm phasing this podcast out and shifting into like a slightly different direction, but still on the same path. And yeah, just wanted to honor you and thank you and express my gratitude for this connection, that you've been here. And I hope that you will connect with me through my Substack, or you can write an email through my website and all that. And if you're interested in either exploring this idea of AI as a powerful tool in your healing and awakening, and how does that look like, I'm starting a monthly gathering, like a free Zoom call from February, called the Digital Sangha, where we're going to talk about these things. So again, I'm going to share the link for that. And thank you for being here, and let me know where you are on your path, and if you need any support, and especially in healing and awakening and uprooting generational patterns, then you're welcome to connect with me for biodecoding. I'm offering biodecoding sessions now. That's also online. So yeah, I'm so grateful to share this powerful work that completely transformed my life. So I'm excited, to bring that forward. So thank you again. Have a wonderful year of the horse. I'm looking forward to this new energy of the fire horse after the snake and shedding all the skin and transformation, and just sending you lots of love from my heart to your heart, and we stay connected.